Welcome to 30 Something, where I talk all things personal finance, investing, and medicine. For those who don't know, I'm a 30-something-year-old doctor who's aiming for financial freedom and independence. In the video today, I'm going to review my budget from February and compare it to what I actually spent to see where I went wrong. If you watched my net worth video from February, you would know that this was a pretty rough month on this front. So let's jump right into the nitty-gritty of what went wrong. So today we're going to look at my budget from February 2021 and compare what I budgeted compared to what I actually spent. If you watched my net worth video, you'll know that it was quite a large expenditure month and my income was actually less than I thought it would be for a variety of reasons. So I'll go through the income part first. So as we can see here up the top, I budgeted a salary of $4,800, which is about what I earn at a base. It has gone down slightly since changing into the training program, but I was still getting some income in from my old job, so I thought it would be that. But due to the pay cycles, it actually ended up only being $3,971.99, which was less $828 from my base. So this is something that obviously affected my budget this month. I did earn over the $10 in interest. I got $11.32, and then I sold my old sports GPS watch online for $300, and PayPal took a fee. So I used PayPal because I posted it to someone on the other side of the state, and I wanted to, protect myself and them with that. So that ended up bringing in $291, which I was pretty happy with because it was a couple years old, still working perfectly, so that's good. So this month I spent my usual $150 on my health insurance. This month I finally actually bit the bullet and got my trauma and income protection insurance for the first time. I didn't know at the beginning of the month how much that would end up costing. So my trauma is $106.60 and my income protection is $90.53. And this is all set up so that it can be adjusted as my income goes up very dramatically over the next few years. Because in a couple of years' time, when I'm fully qualified, my income will double or triple what it is now, depending on how I structure my work. So my insurance has ended up being over my $150 budget, but I'm okay with that because now I can budget that for future months. My rent's always the same. The only difference would be if there was 3 rent fortnights in the month, but this month there wasn't. My gas bill was less at $32.57. I changed houses, so that's the remaining from the last house. I'm interested to see what it'll be at this house. My internet's always $60. I convinced them to give me a $10 discount, so I'm keeping that. I've looked at changing because it's not always the best quality internet and I have a bit of issues sometimes. But I just can't get anyone nearly as cheap as that now, particularly because I have the discount. I budgeted some garden and planting expenses and I didn't end up spending anything on that actually, so that's good. Then petrol, I budgeted $100. I spent $116. There was a few trips to Sydney this month because my nana passed away, which was a bit sad. But I ended up having to go down there twice. One to see her before she passed because she was very unwell. And then for the funeral, I popped down there. So I spent a bit extra driving to see the family. Then here, I budgeted $400 for groceries and only spent $265, which is usually a bad thing because it means I've spent more on takeaway. But again, because I wasn't home as much, there was more eating with family and other things. Excuse me. Work lunches, I budgeted $100 and only paid $43. I'm going to reduce that down because really I should be taking food with me to work and not spending lots of money on food. Restaurants, I spent $69. I didn't buy any food delivery services this month and probably won't for a while. I spent more on takeaways, $57, and I spent more than my budget, almost $80 on delivery services like Uber Eats and Menulog. I live alone and I don't really like cooking, so that often happens. To be honest, I don't drink coffee, so this is a really small budget, and that's mostly for getting drinks out with friends and things like that. Sometimes I get like milkshakes and juices and stuff instead. So that's that budget. It was under budget. So overall, my food budget was well below, which is very good actually, because although that still seems like a large amount at $531, I usually spend a lot more money on food, and I waste a lot of money. So I'm trying to get a bit better than that. Now, my work expenses is really where it blew out, and if you watch my net worth update, you would know that. So I didn't budget anything for courses this month, and I thought I would get a payout from my work for my leave that would cover any work expenses that I did have. But it hasn't come yet. I confirmed yesterday that I will get it in 2 weeks' time, so that will be updated in my March budget, and that will help my net worth, which went down this month, and also provide a boost to all my savings, which have been depleted a little lately. So my course was $3,350. I will get over $1,000 of that back at tax time, so it's not as bad, but I just need to wait. I know my AMA actually costs $28.50. I don't know why I put $28.60 in there. And then other expenses was $149. That was for, I can't remember anymore. What did I spend $149 on? Not sure. If I remember, I'll let you know. And then now down to my personal expenses. I didn't have any medical expenses this month. The good thing about being a medical professional is that even if I did go to the doctor, which I didn't, but if I did, I'm usually bulk billed because it's a professional courtesy thing to bill other medical professionals, not charge them any out-of-pocket fees, which is an interesting thing, but kind of nice. And I need to go to the dentist and haven't done it. I'm not due for the optometrist. My glasses are fine. I will have some chemist expenses in the coming month. And I haven't hurt myself recently with all my exercise and gymnastics and hobbies. So yay, haven't needed to buy any massages or physio recently, which is great. My total medical expenses were $0. So personal and entertainment. So my mobile phone costs $30 a month. I'm actually prepaid now and can change that, and I have a lot of data added up. So I may get the lesser value one next month because it has rollover data, which is quite good to save a bit of money. I was planning on getting a haircut and colour, which cost quite a lot of money, but I didn't end up doing it because I didn't actually have time to book it in on a day I was available, and I've decided I'll just put it off longer. I love a bit of regrowth. Same with beauty services, that will be in March instead, and hopefully I won't spend that much, but we'll see. I have an iPad on a plan which has a data plan as well, so I pay $83. I actually don't use the data very often, but the plan's over in a couple of months' time, so I will just reduce that down. I may keep the data because it is handy. I used it the other day at work to do a Zoom call, but yeah, we'll just see. I'll play that by ear once that contract is out. I budgeted some clothing because I really need to buy some new clothes, but I did not go shopping, so I bought $28.05, and that was on my trip to see my grandmother. I didn't actually have my pajamas with me, so I had to go buy some, and because it was a bit of a sudden trip that I came straight from work. My subscriptions for Spotify, etc., come to $16.48. That's actually a set thing. I don't know why. It's easier just to put 20 in. Alcohol, I spent $10. I don't really buy a lot of alcohol. I didn't spend anything going out or socialising specifically outside of food. I did spend extra on gym. I do gymnastics for fun on the side. And at the beginning of the year, there is a you've got to pay like a registration fee to cover insurance, so that's extra. Plus I paid up front the whole term of classes because it's cheaper. This is the first time I've actually been able to do this because I no longer work shift work, which I'm so happy about, and I look forward to when that comes in again. And then $12 on other, which again I can't remember what that is. Yay me. So my total personal expenses, I budgeted $873 and ended up spending only just under $600. So I actually did quite well on my budget this month, minus the work expense. So really at the end of the day, I probably should be a bit proud of myself with that, because if you take away the $3,500, I would actually be under budget. But that's fine. It is what it is. I don't have any... The only thing I have is credit cards, which I actually did pay some back. I've put it over here. So my beginning balance of my credit card was 1,700, and at the end of the month it was 787. And again, I'll pay that off at the end of this month. Excuse me. My HEX debt remains at $83,500. As I've mentioned in other videos, but I'll quickly recap if you're new here. HEX debt in Australia is a interest-free loan from the government that you only have to pay back once you earn over a certain threshold. The threshold is currently $48,000 a year, and as it goes up, how much you have to pay based on how far over that threshold your income is for the financial year. And this is a pre-tax, pre-deductions amount. So if I earn $100,000 pre-tax and pre-deductions, that's what my HEX debt repayment is made out of, even though I salary sacrificed and I have thousands of dollars of deductions in work expenses. That will reduce my taxable income, but I still pay my HEX on that total amount. So in Australia, the tax year ends at the end of June, and you process your taxes. I usually do it pretty early, as soon as I've got all the stuff I need. So in July, August. And then I almost always get a tax return because my work expenses are pretty high. And also with working shift work and varied work, your pay, just the way your pay works, and the fact that my pay has gone down this second 6 months of the pay of the financial year will also mean I will probably get quite a hefty tax return, which will be very good for my savings and help pay my exam fees later in the year. So that will remain unchanged until then, but I am paying extra tax on my income as a result, and my income up here is all post having all my tax taken out, because the government, your employer holds that tax for you until tax time, and then you get it back. So then how much did I budget to put in my emergency fund? Was $400. How much did I do? I took out $900. I took out $2,300 from my house fund, and that was to cover the course. This was to cover some rent because I didn't get that pay that I thought I would get. I didn't put any money into any of my other bills. I did put a little bit into my other account. I did put a little bit into my work expenses, and I continued to invest as planned. I'm going to continue that anyways, even if I have a big expense month, because I do have some savings and they're earning less than 1% interest now, even though they're in a high interest savings account. So I'd prefer to have it in my investment accounts, which on average will get, 8% or so. So that's a much better return over the long run. And with compound interesting, it's worth me just putting it in now anyways, because I know that I'll make back this money as soon as I get that payout. In fact, I've already paid back some of that just with my normal pay that has come in since the beginning of March. So that's my review of my budget. So overall, I spent $636 more than I earned, which is not as bad as I thought it would be, with considering all the big expenses I had. But it did obviously reduce my savings down dramatically. So, it is what it is, but I'm okay with it. So I think we'll leave it at that for today with regards to my budget. Oh, actually, we might, we'll go through my goals. So these were my goals for the month. Pay income protection and trauma insurance, so that was done. Pay for contents insurance, I haven't done that yet. I was waiting for that payout from work. Save, that definitely didn't happen. I didn't zero my credit card. It is much less than it was before, and I spent less than I previously have on it this last month, so it'll be easy to pay it out in full next in March. Oh, goodness gracious. I can't talk this morning. I did spend less on food out this month, which was good. I thought I was going to get paid out the $3,000 from work, or approximately. I actually don't know how much I'll receive. I'll find out in 2 weeks, apparently. I did want to sort out some insurances, which I partially did. And just note that my pay has decreased for the next couple of months until I build up a patient load. Then that will come back up again. Maybe I'll explain how I'm paid as a trainee in general practice in another video, because it's actually quite different and confusing to what most other people get. And when I start earning above my base, you'll notice it in my budget as well anyways, because I'll put it separate to my base. Excuse me. So this is a kind of an overview. So my work costs were like off the charts, as you can see. If it'll let me, no, it won't let me touch that. Off the charts here. Oh, undo. There we go. Using this on my iPad is confusing. My total insurances wasn't too much. Transport costs was very minimal, considering my food costs were actually reasonably low for me. So that's good. And then this is, some other summaries. So obviously my income was not very high, my expenses were, and my savings went down. Which next month, let's hope that's all heading up. My expenses come down, my income goes up, and my savings go up. That's what I'm hoping. And obviously I'm not paying off any debt particularly, so that doesn't have a graph there as well. So we'll leave it at that for good this time. So thanks for joining me and watching my February budget review update. Let's hope that March will be a more positive and less negative month. I'd love some feedback down below on how I could structure these better. I'm fairly incompetent when it comes to editing technologies, but I'm getting there. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye!